Kevin Rapp runs a small wine import business in Washington, D.C., bringing wine in from Italy and selling it to other businesses in the area. His entire company is now at risk, thanks to the threat of new U.S. wine tariffs.
I have to really think about whether or not I can keep running my business and if maybe I need to do something else.
The U.S. has already imposed a 25% tariff on some European wines as part of a larger $7.5 billion tariff package. Those taxes were meant to punish the European Union over a dispute about subsidies for the EU airline manufacturer Airbus. The tariffs are already having an impact. After they were implemented, imports of the taxed wines plummeted by around one-third year over year. Now, the U.S. is considering expanding and raising those tariffs, potentially as high as 100%. And because of the way wine is sold in the U.S., most of those increased costs would fall on U.S. companies.
85% of every dollar spent on EU wine stays within the U.S. It's generated by American companies, and it becomes revenue and profit for American companies.
Eric Siegelbaum is a veteran sommelier who runs a wine consulting company. He's one of the many industry members who've recently been lobbying in D.C. to try and avert the upcoming tariff hike.
There's roughly 6,500 importers and distributors in this country that employ, well over 100,000 people between, truck drivers and dock workers and warehouse workers and administrative staff and all that. Most of those are going to absolutely collapse. What we're talking about is a catastrophic failure of an industry, not just, oh, boo-hoo, a bunch of elitist snobs have to pay more for their unnecessary luxury item.
EU wineries will be impacted by these tariffs as well, but not as severely as U.S. companies. Demand for European wines isn't just limited to the U.S., and EU producers are already turning to other markets like China and Brazil. And it won't be easy for U.S. companies to just replace the European wine imports. The U.S. doesn't produce enough domestic wine to fill that gap, and any increased production now won't actually make it to market for 3 to 4 years at least. Rapp says if the tariffs do go into effect, he'll likely have to start from scratch with wineries in Africa and South America to try and keep his business afloat.
If you challenge me with something like this, I'm going to try to figure it out. But to be honest with you, I don't know. I know that I can. It's just going to take a long time, and it's kind of a shame all the work that I put in over the past 3 years to see that fall by the wayside.